It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast. We are working through another working week. Yes, up to a Thursday, plenty of property news. We cover that for you every morning. It is September the 19th today. And are you looking at the moment to buying a bit of land and building and finding it almost impossible because of just how expensive land has become, especially, it has to be said, over the last 5 years? Well, coming up next week, we are going to be talking about where you might still find some great value in Brisbane if that is where you would like to build. In greater capital city suburbs, land priced under $500 per square metre is becoming a rarity. But realestate.com.au has reported that some areas still offer affordable residential plots for those looking to build their homes. New research has highlighted the fact that the top 10 suburbs in Greater Brisbane, with 4 locations especially, offering averaged prices below $500 per square metre, with one location offering land at $453, significantly below the regional median. So we will dive in and take a look at all of that next week. But right now on our Thursday morning, let's catch up with Alex Cook, a director from Resort Brokers in Brisbane. And a very good morning to you, Alex. Welcome back to the Real Estate Breakfast. You have been tripping around Europe. Where have you been?
Predominantly in the UK, catching up with old friends, but a few weeks in France and a few weeks in Spain as well. Very nice long trip. Good to be back in the thick of it in Australia.
What about that exchange rate? How much did that kill your credit card?
It is painful at the moment, Craig. There's no doubt about that, particularly when you hit the continent with the euro. The pound's pretty bad. The euro gives it an extra sting.
Yes, for sure, the euro, ouch. Now, we've been finding out since you've been gone all about the management rights and how you can become involved in this industry. There are many counterpoints to consider, but more and more Australians, it seems, are looking at this industry as a way of providing, firstly, I guess, a lifestyle, and then secondly, the income stream. So perhaps first off, Alex, let's pick up on the point of why people are looking at this industry for investing in the first place.
It's seen as a very safe and robust industry. If you look at the value and the profitability of management rights businesses over a long period of time, they've shown steady growth and stability. They're very well supported by the banking sector. Indeed, during the GFC, management rights was the only sector where banks continue to lend 70% on them. So they work very well from a point of view of leveraging your money. The barriers to entry are very low, although they certainly require people who are people, who are able to get along with people from all sorts of walks of life. From a qualification point of view, the barriers to entry are relatively low. So we do find a lot of people coming from other walks of life, looking to become the masters of their own destiny, looking to purchase businesses.
So you said a people person, and I just wonder how many people, maybe over a number of years, you've seen the odd person pop up and you've thought, no, this is clearly probably not going to work if you're not into people and just that face-to-face. It's so important, isn't it?
That's absolutely right. One of the policies I stick to is never sell someone into a business you can't sell them out of. And certainly if I come across people, newcomers who I don't think are suitable for the industry, I won't be shy in telling them. Of course, people do make mistakes and get into the industry where, they don't have those people skills. Ultimately, to maintain the value of a business, you need to get along with the residents because you need to get their votes to top those agreements up. And of course, if you haven't got those people skills, you won't get the agreements topped up and the value of your business will drop. The industry does tend to weed out the people that shouldn't be in it fairly quickly.
And then if you look at it at the other end of the spectrum, you must come across people all the time that you go, gee, this is such a fantastic fit. You are such a people person. The dynamic way being personable. You meet these personable people, but for whatever reason, they can't quite get there, and that must be frustrating.
I personally think anyone with a hard work ethic and those people skills will get there in the industry. At the moment, we're seeing a lot of interstate migration from mums and dads moving from Melbourne up to Sydney to find a business in warmer climates. And where they have those skills, we generally find we are able to find good fits for them. And particularly if they buy a business, which has been previously run by someone without those skills. There's a great opportunity for someone to come in there, rebuild relationships, get those agreements topped up, get units back in the letting pool, and build businesses. So no, I think if you've got those people skills as brokers, we should be able to find a business which is suitable for you.
All right, we are talking to Alex about management rights this morning. We'll come back in just a moment and drill down on some more next.
Every week we present so much real estate. Powerful, up-to-date news every morning from 6 a.m. Know your property with us on the Real Estate Podcast.
And right now it is time to go into Canberra and catch up with Theo there, who has got a property tip, a little bit of advice for us this morning. What have you got for us, Theo?
One of my favourites is jumping onto the realestate.com app and looking at that property's past history, whether it was up for rent, whether it was up for sale in the past, most importantly, what it last transacted for. It's a very key tool to have when you're out and about.
Yeah, do you find that, when people look at the sales history and what it sold for, it's kind of fixed in their minds as to what the property is worth? Like they just come up to this figure and they go, it's not worth any more than this.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. But it all goes at the same time of what's on the market at that point in time as well. Sure, a lot of people look it up and they say, look, it sold for X. Why are you chasing Y? Well, that's up to the agent to sort of help them understand what's on the market and what's recently sold, because sometimes properties have transacted over 2 or 3 years ago, which is quite irrelevant in the current climate.
From buying strategies, a fluctuating market, the importance of data, geographical differences, confidence in the market, rental yields. Stay informed every morning from 6 a.m.
And it is a Real Estate Thursday, talking management rights with Alex this morning. And I just want to pick up on the point that Nick talked about, the way in which management rights have evolved over a period of time, especially with it now being a more mature market. Just how much more sophisticated from your point of view has it become?
Well, look, you can tell a very fun story there. The management rights started as an industry on the Gold Coast in the 1960s, and it was a way of people from Melbourne and Sydney who started to buy holiday apartments on the Gold Coast. It was a system that enabled the safe and productive management of their property whilst they were absent, in Sydney and Melbourne. Over the years, it's developed into a multi-billion-dollar industry. And that's developed in line with the size of developments. Obviously strata buildings where we used to see a maximum perhaps 50, 60 units. Now we see strata developments of, 600, 700, 800 units. So there's very substantial businesses behind those buildings, and that's engendered big corporates coming into the industry. Good example being Mantra. Mantra were one of the first large companies to acquire a large portfolio of large management rights and float them, and they were sold to Accor for over $1 billion. So it gives you an idea of the growing scale of the industry.
Now, if you've been listening to these discussions and you have thought to yourself, okay, I'm at a stage now where I understand enough about the industry and want to find out more. If somebody is thinking that, Alex, can you step over just how somebody becomes involved in being an on-site manager?
Well, look, without meaning to self-sale too much, I think becoming close with a good broker who's going to spend the time to understand your needs and what you're looking for and start presenting you with opportunities and explaining the processes that you need to go through to get into the industry is critical. At the end of the day, it's going to be a broker who will show you the various types of properties They'll introduce you to other key professionals. We always say if you're going to get into management rights, make sure you use specialists. So speaking to a specialist finance broker who will be able to look at your finances and give you an idea of what you're able to purchase. Obviously, when you do purchase, the lawyer, management rights specialist lawyer, is a real linchpin in the process in regards to running the due diligence and the conveyancing part of a process. So I suppose in simplicity, find a good broker to start with, but from there, just make sure you're surrounded by the best industry specialist professionals that you can find.
Well, let's have a look at the general state of the market through your lens, perhaps some of the sales volumes and what is happening in 2024, because as mentioned, here we are, we're at the 19th day of September, so the year is whizzing by.
It is indeed. It's really coming out of COVID. It's been an extremely strong market. The management rights market is largely split between permanent residential management rights and short stay management rights. Obviously, the short stay, more hotel side of it was somewhat stagnant during COVID. Now all of those short-term businesses have got a good couple of years decent trading since COVID. So really the last couple of years have been record years for resort brokers. Probably transact between 100 and 150 management rights per year. Quite significant volumes. We're almost selling a management rights every 2 or 3 days.
And there's plenty of obstacles and hurdles that you talked about in any business, really. You have to navigate and work your way around and through them. What do you think some of those challenges are faced by on-site managers in the current market dynamics?
The biggest hurdle and perhaps the newest phenomenon to management rights has what I'd refer to as the increasing empowerment of body corporate committees. In order to purchase a management rights, the transaction has to be approved by committees. Obviously, people that sit on committees, it's a non-qualified role. And unfortunately, if we do find difficult committees, they can slow down the assignment process and make transactions difficult.
All right, we'll leave it there, Alex. Plenty of things to think about and chew over for the listener. And once again, thanks for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning.
Thank you very much for having me, Craig. You have a fantastic day.
From first-time home buyers to seasoned investors to breaking property news, discover the stories behind the real estate.
They were buying your single-level 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom homes for about the $750,000 to about $1 million. And nowadays, those same 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom homes are selling anywhere from the $2 million to about the $2.5 million. So a lot of people are taking the option to sell up here and move up north to Queensland.
Oh yeah, especially having $1 million in your hip pocket. That's a pretty smart move for a lot of people. Now let's talk about the median house prices and unit prices. You better break those down for people being listening this morning.
The median house price for North Ryde, they're selling anywhere from about the 2 to 2.4 mark. Average will probably be around the 2-3. The apartments, your average 2-bedroom apartment, you're probably selling around the 850 to 900 mark.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.